There's my mic. Pay, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, great. Thanks for joining me tonight. This, I figure, if I did this year's Deathversary podcast, you couldn't forget if you were
This is
on it.
true.
So
This is true.
I invited
This
you
is
on.
this is very true.
Thank you for the. Sorry, I'm trying to get my shit together. I don't know. I think someone. I heard my thing go off. I don't remember what that was for. That thing.
If you want to touch my body,
It's not showing up in my
I
thing.
know everybody.
Macmurray in the Merc, welcome to the basement, it says.
Oh for following. Thanks for the follows. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this year, let me just preface this so people know, is about 4 years, 2019, February 7th, through a series of unfortunate events, and some bad medical calls. I went into cardiac arrest. I was dead long enough, and I found this out in the past 6 months. I was dead long enough to where they were actually thinking about calling it. So, but anyways, just so obviously like a lot of like bullshit went with that. Chest tubes. There's other issues going on. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel. Links down below. Clinically dead. Yes. Heart stop. They were doing chest compressions for a few minutes, and from what I've been told from nurses is after 2 minutes they start discussing whether or not if there's a point in continuing chest compressions and trying to revive you. So that's what I was told by some nurses. I'm not a medical professional, so there's that. So ever since then, I don't stream as much anymore, but at least on this day every year I like to do a podcast with someone, and part of it we do talk about mental health. And I thought this year was great because using me and Pay here as an example, I think is really going to get my point across, because we also have people in our communities and whatnot that struggle with their problems with mental health, physical health, whatnot, and making content. And not just because they don't have anything that they want to make content wise, but because of their like anxiety, PTSD, what have you, they're not able to make content. Like it's hard for me to get on here and stream. I'm a co-host on another podcast that I do about once a week with my buddy Matt and Eugene on his Twitch channel. But I'm not producing it. I don't have to worry about things. I just have to show up. So it's easier on my brain. Doing stuff like this, like up until I called you, Pay, I wanted to cancel it.
Yeah, I feel that. There are definitely times like going into my own streams, especially going into collabs, that first like 30 minutes to an hour before going live, there are definitely days where I'm like, oh man, I don't have this in me, and trying to push yourself through to do it is, something that can be very, very hard depending on what, particular struggles you have. And I've definitely had days where, I've still got it on the stream and I've just been like, hey guys, today is just not my day. I'm not doing too great, but I'm here. I don't know how long we'll be here for. So, I don't like it a secret that I do have my own struggles, but, it's a thing that I think a lot more content creators deal with and, battle against than most people realize.
Do you think, this is just my thought, do you think it hurts their content?
I don't think so. At least if you approach it properly. But for a lot of people, especially for smaller streamers, smaller creators, it absolutely can hurt your content because, the number one thing that you have to do in order to find success and to grow is to be consistent. And, if you have health issues, if you struggle with anxiety, depression, any number of other issues, consistency is where it gets really, really hard. So that can definitely hurt your content, put you behind, keep you from getting anywhere. But at the same time, if you have these issues and you still go for it and you just talk about it, I don't think that hurts you at all.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Scotty. And that's one thing. And you said what I was thinking was being consistent. Now, when we met, and then you debuted shortly after I became affiliate, like, you are very set in stone. Put it down on paper. This date, this time. You're very regimented, like, to an annoying factor of being just very, like, and it's good. Like, it's very good. I'm obviously a chaotic person, but your scheduling is phenomenal, and that's one of the reasons why you've leaped and bound successfully past a good chunk of us that we're streaming regularly together, because you stayed consistent. Even, like, and we all have trials and tribulations in our life. You were able to stay consistent, and you've been, at least in my eyes, because everything's relative, right? Like, I think you've been pretty successful. I know you're not at where you want to be. I know you want to be partnered, everything going. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're absolutely right. I definitely do have places I still want to go, things that I still want to achieve. We're still growing and working, but in terms of, like, where I sit right now with my following, with my community, I could not be happier.
Yeah, and then you have me, and actually, what was it, a year ago? About this time a year ago, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, obviously PTSD from the shit that happened, and agoraphobia. And if people don't know what agoraphobia is, it's basically the fear of large spaces or being in a crowd of people. And I think that was brought on to a year after my cardiac arrest, like, COVID started. So, like, I lost 20% of my one lung. Obviously, I have a strong heart, but, like, my heart wasn't damaged. So then I'm like, what if I get this? Is it gonna fucking kill me? So I spent 2 years basically a recluse. Very minimal actual physical contact with people. A full year of not being around people. And I think that's what brought on my agoraphobia. But all that shit led into where I was streaming when we met consistently Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think Saturday. And I started at 5 o'clock on those days religiously until my mental health started going sideways. And I, just like you, like, I had steady people coming in, all that, and then I trail off, and now it's just, it's definitely not where I saw myself 2 years ago. Definitely isn't. And that shows in being inconsistent, but it also shows that the mental health aspect of trying to do this, to sit there live and be entertaining in some way, shape, or form. This really is hard to do when you're with lack of a better word, fucked up. Words. I mean, I remember I remember when we were doing VTM, or is it VTM? Vampire
Yeah,
the Masquerade.
we were doing Vampire the Masquerade, yeah.
And I was one of the problems is I would show up and then I would have an anxiety attack and leave, or other people that were in it wouldn't show up for whatever reasons. And that sucked, and it made me, and I felt like shit because of it, because I was letting you down, I was letting other people on the stream down, but it was also hurting, not only hurting me mentally in that shit, but it was also hurting my brand, like.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the like biggest issues when it comes to having mental health struggles, especially if you're a streamer, if you're a content creator, if you're something like that. Like obviously, no matter what you do in life, no matter what kind of job you have or that you do, if your mental health is suffering in any way, shape, or form, whatever you're trying to do gets exponentially more difficult, right? But when it comes to something like content creation or being a streamer, where your success is really based on your ability to be present and to be consistent, and it's a lot more easily visible than I think in a lot of other jobs, right? Like, if you work at McDonald's or something, like, yeah, you might miss some days and that sort of thing, but you're going to come back, when you're feeling a bit better, you take a day off, whatever, you come back, and you're fine, right? Like, the McDonald's is still there, the company's still making money, you've still got customers, but something like being a content creator, you miss a week of streaming, and you'll see that drop off, and it's kind of immediate feedback. And that kind of immediate feedback does not help the mental health at all, and it just kind of becomes a spiral of self-fulfilling bullshit.
Yeah, it feeds into the negative thoughts you're already having, and most of the time you get set to the wayside with trying to do content creation. Is like, if you're, once again, just beating this dead horse, is if you're not with it over and over and over consistent, you're kind of just, you're losing it. I mean, I'm not going to give up. I just enjoy doing this shit anyways. So, but I have a 9 to 5. You okay? Did you fall asleep there?
Yeah. No, to be perfectly honest with you, I had to reach down and scratch my foot, and my camera didn't like it.
Okay. It looked like you were falling out of your chair. Wow, that kind of derailed me. What was I saying?
You were beating the dead horse of how consistency is really important for content creation.
Okay, yeah. So, and so it's not going to stop me falling off, and then I came back strong for a couple weeks or a month, falling off again. But I love doing this. Like, it's saying I have a regular 9 to 5 isn't fair. Because this, I mean, me and you talking before the stream is like, you're putting in fuck tons of hours.
What is sleep? What is sleep?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, by the way, this is also an intervention, about your sleep schedule.
I've been duped.
But let me put it this way. My job isn't that physically hard. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. But it doesn't negate the fact that you or other content creators at your level or higher don't put in fuck tons of hours, and that it's not hard. So saying that I have a normal 9 to 5 isn't fair. I think if you're a decent enough content creator, that's a normal job. You're making money at it. There's obviously negative shits to all jobs, but say that, oh, I have a normal job, you don't, is kind of fucking dumb. But I was thinking about that earlier because there's no way around me saying that my normal job and to say that Vtuber content creator is not a normal job, because you make money, and you do
It
more
really
hours
isn't a
than I
normal
do.
job. It really isn't. It's not a normal job in the traditional sense of like what a job is, but it absolutely still is a job. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's maybe where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to their content creation, is that they don't look at it as a job. Yes, it is a job. It just doesn't work the same way, normal jobs do. Most normal jobs, I show up from X time to X time, I perform X task, I make X amount of money. That's kind of your typical 9 to 5 style job. Whereas with content creation, it's not like that at all. You can put in 20 hours worth of work and you may not make anything at all. You may not get paid for those 20 hours. You might make $0 after uh, all that time and effort and work that you put in. But at the same time, if you keep at it, then eventually you will start getting paid. And I think the trick there is trying to figure it out and get to a point where, like, okay, I've worked 6 hours, I'm done. In that 6 hours of work, I have made, X amount of money, and that translates to, I made $13 an hour today, or I made $50 an hour, or whatever it is. And I think that's the ultimate goal, but nobody ever starts there.
No, not at all. Well, basically what, like, when we get paid from this is kind of like commission. Like, you get the chunk of, like, for each stream you get a chunk of change. We get paid on it, every so often. And you can break that down into an hourly rate. Like, I spent 14 hours on this one video, or this week I spent 20 hours streaming. I made this amount, but I put more effort into it, and it sucks. And that can fucking jab you in the back too. But that's your own brain. What's our own worst enemy is our own brains.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And especially if you have struggles with things that cause you to be really demotivated, or if you have like self-doubt or stuff like that, if you're working, at a job like content creation where you can work, for an average stream, I probably work on an average stream for 6 hours now at this point. 2 years in, I probably work on a stream for 6 hours before I go live, and then I stream for 2 hours. So I'm working 8 hours for a stream, but it's only during that 2 hours that I make anything at all. I see any kind of money, and there's some streams where it's like amazing, and it's like holy crap. We made $300 this stream. And that's awesome. But more than likely, you're going to encounter, I worked 6 hours, I streamed for 2 hours, I made $20. Like, that can be really demotivating for people, especially anyone. That can be demotivating for if you don't have the right mindset. But then you add in any sort of mental health struggles, and it becomes just exponentially harder.
It's an avalanche of shit. Like, I streamed for an hour earlier today, midday, and I wasn't gonna do it, and part of it is because of what we will talk about, and that's Hogwarts Legacy. There was, like, mentally, I'm like, oh, do I do this? Like I even, like, I'm gonna go take a shower, and I was super motivated, and then I get out of the shower, and I'm like, I don't want to do this now. But I did, and I'm like, and that wasn't like a fear of streaming that game. It was I was having anxiety, just like I was having anxiety about before calling you. Just because I'm like, ugh, like you're gonna fuck up, you're gonna do something wrong, something's gonna go sideways, like, and that's just, that's the mental bullshit that goes through my brain. Like, half the time when I want to stream anymore, where in the beginning when I was consistent, it was always like, it was like breathing. I just got on, I talked whether there's people in the room or not, interacted, and now it's more just like, like, I don't know. I don't worry about walking on eggshells. I don't worry about offending people because if I say something offensive, it's not malicious, so I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm 39 years old. Like, I may say something fucking stupid, you know? I've changed, like, my fucking lexicon of words, just because, I grew up in a time where you can say horrible shit about people and it was okay. And no one batted an eye, and they were wrong shit. So, like, I don't worry about offending people. At least I try not to. But I don't know. I just feel like half the time when I want to go live, I'm just like, you don't want to do this. Like, you're shit. You're not going to do anything. You're like, what's the point? And then I usually don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely struggle sometimes going live. My reasoning why I struggle in particular about going live is definitely a little bit different. But just the struggle of going, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do it is a thing that I think a lot of people go through, regardless of the ultimate reasons behind why they struggle. And the biggest thing that I've seen consistently across everyone that I have talked to, because I've gotten the chance through this whole process to meet just so many people from all over the world, from all different time zones, from all different backgrounds, that sort of thing. The one thing that I have found consistently that we all kind of share, that all kind of helps, is that when you're going to go live, you're doing it for no other reason than that you want to create something. You want to create something, and it doesn't matter how good or how bad that something that you created is, because just by the process of making something, you're doing something that 99% of people in the world will never do. And for me personally, that thought has helped a lot. For quite a few people that I know, that thought has helped a lot. Like, I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live because I'm going to make something. What I'm making is content. I'm making a stream. I'm leaving a digital footprint of some sort. And 99% of people in the world will never do that in their life. They just won't. They won't even try. They won't even start. They won't even attempt it. And so just kind of knowing that doing that, I'm making some sort of progress, or I am doing something, makes it worthwhile just to myself, and that helps a lot to get out there and get going. And for a lot of people that I've talked to, just realizing that or reminding themselves of that helps to give that little push to just do it. Where's the Shia LaBeouf meme? He's just screaming, just do it!
Just do it! Just do it. Now, do you feel better after the stream? Like, on those days where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, there have definitely been times. They've gotten a lot fewer and far between. On the whole, anyway, now that I'm 2 years in, but, recent issues, they've been happening a little bit more often. But there have been plenty of times where I've just been like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't have it in me today. I feel terrible. And I'll get on the stream and I'll start talking, and I'll let my community know, like, hey guys, today is just not my day. I don't know how long we'll be here. I'm really just, I am not feeling it. And then 20 minutes later, I'm back to myself. I'm feeling great. I'm happy. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. I'm energetic. I'm like, why didn't I go live 3 hours ago when I felt like shit?
It's because our brains are our worst fucking enemies.
They really are. One of the things that there's a lot of scientific evidence about is that if you're feeling sad or if you're feeling depressed or whatever, the simple act of forcing yourself to smile can make you feel better, because you smile when you're happy. So you do the physical action of smiling, and your brain will kind of tick along with that, right? And your mood will be elevated. And I am firmly of the belief that it's just like that with everything that you do, right? So if you have to clean your room and you have no motivation to do it, just the act of forcing yourself to start, even if you're like, I might only do this for 30 seconds, right? As soon as you start, your brain kind of kicks in and goes, oh, this is what we're doing? Yeah, we can do this. Fuck yeah. And then the next thing you know, you've been cleaning for 3 hours and your room is nice and clean. And now you feel better because your space is clean. And it just kind of snowballs. So negative ideas and feelings and stuff can snowball and spiral, but so can positive ones. So a lot of the time, even if you don't feel like doing it, even if you don't feel like getting on, just get on. 30 seconds of doing something is better than not doing it at all.
Yeah, making yourself a deal, even if it's... Because the cleaning thing is a great example. Because, I'm horrible about my kitchen. Like, I have a corner where my trash can's at, and I'll get trash from in here, and then I'll put it in a bag, and I'll set it next to the trash can in the kitchen. And it's nothing like rotting or anything. It's just, fucking pop cans and stuff. And, I won't do it for a while. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do it, or I gotta do it. And I just put it off. I'm like, dude, just pick up a few. That's all you gotta do. And I make a deal with myself. And if you do that with you, and you start doing that positive thing, your brain goes, why did you think this was bad? Why wouldn't you do this before? And then you do it for longer. And you get some weird positive reinforcement. I don't know, it's dopamine or whatever. For doing that thing. But with me and other people is with, those negative thoughts in your brain, that the stupidest mundane shit just takes you down, and you don't want to, I could just go, oh, this needs washed, but I'm just going to leave that there. You know what I mean? Which, that is clean. I did wash it earlier. But, it's the stupidest shit that you can just do, and it will make you happy. But people that struggle do stupid shit, the stupidest minor shit, which digs the deeper hole every time, and then you just don't do it. But then when you finally do that stupid little mundane bullshit, it feels great. And people in largely in your community and people that we know, and this one thing that's brought this discussion up in my head is just seeing how people have been down lately, and it's been hard for them to do content creating, and all of us in these communities are trying to encourage each other to either take a break, chill out, or slowly get into stuff. I have found, even though I love doing this, I love talking to you and other people. I love streaming, but I found my easy, stupid little thing is making short content. So TikTok, jokes on Twitter. Granted, my shit is very adult and can be crude, but I will never forget the Jason TikTok that got banned or whatever. Oh yeah, it immediately got fucking taken down. But it's still on my phone. Yeah, had you going. Yep. But that's my way, and I've been doing that more and more this past month and a half, is doing that little short content. And it's motivating me to do this more. Granted, I was gonna do this no matter what, just because I'm making this a tradition. With the Deathversary podcast, I want to get back into this, even if I don't stream that often, just doing podcasts, my own podcast, and not be a guest host on another one. Again, I want to get back into doing it. But those little things, the Instagram reels, the TikTok, the fucking jokes on Twitter, that shit is motivating me, because it's the stupid little dopamine hits that are making me positive enough to get back into the longer form, the longer content, the shit that takes a little bit more effort. Granted, a lot of the people in the circle of community we're in, a lot are VTubers, so it's not as easy to create content. Like, I can just take my phone, record myself saying something stupid, or videotape something stupid, make a joke over it. Bam, that shit's easy for me. Like, as you know, a VTuber, you have to figure out how to keep yourself out of the picture, not dox yourself in any way, like where you're at, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I remember once upon a time during the big like VTuber boom, a lot of the face streamers and stuff were like, "Oh, VTubing it's just content creation on easy mode. You know, it's so much easier for you." And I was just sitting here being like, "If you want to make a TikTok, you whip out your phone, you record yourself for 30 seconds, you press post. If I want to make a TikTok, I need to, you know, load up my avatar, sit down in front of my computer, put my avatar on some sort of screen, crop that to be in a vertical video format, then record myself." I'm like, where is that on easy mode? We have to do more things.
Yeah,
What?
you definitely have to take more steps than face streamers do, and it's a little ridiculous. Like, not like in a ridiculous in a bad way. It just makes shit harder for VTubers. I doubt you saw it, but like when it snowed about a month ago, I was in this richy neighborhood, and I just happened to be going by this park, like surrounded by these nice like McMansions, and there's a snowman, and that snowman had a 3-foot dick and balls. And I'm like, whoa. So I pull my work truck over, and I get out, and I make a stupid joke. Man, you're not gonna do that. Like, if you see that out in the wild, you're not gonna put yourself and be like, "Hey, check this shit out." Fucking, because you're gonna. And a lot of times people do the VTubing thing is, one, you can stay anonymous for the most part. People don't know where you are, who you are, and there's a multitude of fucking reasons why people do that. And I think it's great. And then you got people like me who don't give a shit. So in that content creation, I'm on super easy mode, because I can just do it anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, I won't lie. I am a little bit envious of the ability to do that at times. But you do bring up ultimately with that point. Exactly what we were talking about is that short form content. Lets you make that deal with yourself when it comes to content creation. Just like, hey, I'm going to pick up 3 soda pop cans in my room here and get it clean, and then that gets the ball rolling. Short form content is exactly the same way. Like, hey, I can record a 30-second, clip and call it a day, and that will in turn motivate you to start doing longer form things. And I think a lot of people that struggle, with mental health issues, maybe they don't look at short form content that way, especially for a lot of us. And I know for me in particular, for a long time, I was like, ugh, man, I have to do TikToks, I have to do YouTube shorts, that's just like more things tacked on.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at it as what it can be, which is just, hey, all I have to do is a 1-minute video. That's it. That's all I've got to do. I can do that. A 1-minute video, and then I'm good. And I think that's a great strategy, actually, for approaching content creation. If you do have struggles, or if you, are going through a bad point where doing a full 2-hour stream, doing a full 20-minute video, whatever it is really daunting, you can do something shorter.
Yeah, give your brain or yourself that little bit of a dopamine hit, whatever it is. Like, take a picture of something. What's your stick? Mine's dirty jokes. Like, so or just crude humor. Like I could take a picture or make a 15-second video, bam, that got my brain going. You know what I mean? That made me feel good about creating content. And like I said, like I'm seeing these people in our circles that are just struggling just to do anything. Is about a month ago when I realized that, like, hey man, just start doing TikToks more, or, making it. But those are easy to turn into Instagram reels and whatnot. But it's helped me feel better about creating again, and at least with the TikToks and the short form content, I can stay more consistent with that, which can, in turn, build this back up, which will be great. But I don't necessarily have to worry about this like I used to. Granted, I love doing this, but the mental spots I've been put in makes it super hard to sit down at this desk and play video games and try to be entertaining, because my brain's going to go, no, fuck you, you're an idiot, no one likes you, blah, blah, blah. But those short dopamine hits do enough to where I feel good about doing something. And that's, I think that's what some of us need, is like just a little positive treats. Those little treats, just like you give your pets. Give your pets a little treat, they're happy, they love you. Give your brain little treats.
Yeah, it's a great strategy, honestly. Especially if you can find a way to get those dopamine hits, to get those little treats that don't rely on other people, right? So, if you're doing these shorts or something, the dopamine hit has to come from, I did the thing, I posted the thing exists now. It can't be from, I did the thing, I posted it, 50 people liked my thing. Because there are going to be times where you're going to post something and nobody's going to see it, nobody's going to interact with it, you're going to get like 3 views if you're lucky, and then that's going to be even more demotivation for you. But as long as you're able to, put it out and be happy and satisfied with the fact that I did the thing, it's a brilliant strategy.
Oh yeah, 100%. And now here's a positive thing, just for anyone to like, and this is kind of me going, look at me, but I did a stitch about somewhere like a month and a half ago about Dragon Ball Z. On TikTok, did horrible. I maybe got a handful of likes on it. I put it on my Instagram. It's got close to 40,000 views and thousands of likes. And I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, that's awesome. Or no, I think it's like 34,000 likes or some shit. Granted, my other shit doesn't do close to numbers like that, but that feels awesome. I've gained a lot of followers because of it, and that was like that stupid little dopamine that I needed, and encouragement. Granted, and when doing this is like, every time, if you can gain any amount of followers, you feel good, or people that start coming around more, it feels great. I'm getting, on the short term, like the smaller content shit, like I'm starting to gather like a following like I used to have on here, and I'm feeling great about it. And like, maybe that's, people that are struggling mentally in making content can see that and go, well, maybe that's what I need to do. In whatever way it is, maybe take pictures. Do you like taking pictures of shit, or do it like what I do? Just, I think it's really helped me out, and hopefully that will help someone else out and be like, maybe I can make some short form content that people will enjoy, or at least I enjoy putting it out there. And that will help with the mental state, and then your creative juices and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, I think you brought up a great point, which is like you put it on TikTok and you saw nothing for it, but you put it on a different platform and suddenly like it blew up. That's going to be the thing with a lot of things in content creation. You know, like you could maybe you put something out as a YouTube short and a whopping 2 people see it. You throw it onto TikTok and suddenly 15,000 people see it. It all depends on the platform. That stuff is all kind of up in the air, but it's a good way to show that like the measures that you look at, in terms of like views and interactions and stuff like that, as an indicator of whether or not something is good, are ultimately meaningless at the end of the day, right? Because in one place it does great, and in another place it doesn't. It doesn't mean it's bad or it's good. Usually does mean that, hey, it's pretty good. You just have to find the right people. So that can't really be a discouraging factor. But once you just get doing it, you start getting that ball rolling, you're absolutely right. People start seeing it, people start following you, people will start hitting that like button, people start commenting. And each and every one of those is another little like mini dopamine hit that can give you that drive and that charge just keep going. Because that's what it's ultimately all about. And not just in content creation, but in life in general, it's just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guy comment on that video on Instagram where I got a bunch of likes. And it's no secret, if you look at me, I got some fucking thick-ass eyebrows, right? So, like, it was getting really bad to where it was almost turning into unibrow. And some dude put on there, he goes, dude, that was funny as fuck, but trim your goddamn eyebrows. I'm like, I know. I replied to him, like, I didn't take it negative. I'm like, bro, I'm afraid I'm going to fuck him up. But then I ended up, like, that day I trimmed him up a bit, which I need to do again. But,
See, I'm surprised, knowing you, that that's the way you reacted. Like, I would have expected you to be like, I know, and then your very next video to be you just, like, out and about doing whatever it is, but have taken, like, a magic marker and made the line in between your eyebrows
Solid.
even thicker and even bigger. Like, that's what I would have expected from you.
Yeah, so I did it. I just need to do it again. It's nuts. I work, I don't work with people. I work around construction shit and almost get hit by cars daily. So, like, I'm like, I don't care what my eyebrows look like. But that one person's just like, dude, cut your fucking eyebrows. And I'm like, that's that motivation I needed. That's that motivation. I needed one person on Instagram to talk shit about my bushy eyebrows. I got it done. That's all I needed. But
I feel like there are definitely people where sometimes, something doesn't bother you, you don't care about it, until someone says something, and then you're like, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, maybe you're right. My favourite one is just, like, seeing people on camera and yelling at them to clean their room.
oh, yeah.
I'm looking at you, Scotty. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, that's why, like, all the junk that's in here is not visible on camera. But I wanted to, Scotty, the fake it till you make it remark is, that's a good idea, but you can only fake it for so long, because then it starts turning into a negative thing, and I think you start hating yourself, and your content starts getting bad. I use that I've used it when I used to be a manager. Is like I had to get people certified, state tested, all this shit for pest control, and I'd be like, dude, just fake it till you make it. I'll get you through it, but you'll learn more just by doing shit. Just act confident. You'll get through this. And most people did, and they faked it until they made it. But you can do that with content creation. You definitely can. But in content creation, you're just gonna, to me at least, you're gonna end up hating yourself, hating what you do. You're gonna make negative content, unless that's your aim, is to make negative content. I don't think anyone really wants that.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, I think, is actually brilliant advice. But I think it's advice that a lot of people get wrong. Like people say, "Oh, just fake it till you make it, and eventually you'll be happy." You're not. When we say fake it till you make it, we don't say like fake being happy. Bring out that toxic positivity. No matter what happens, you're always happy and you're always energetic, and like that's the kind of person that you want to be. That's not what you have to fake it till you make it. The fake it till you make it part is, it being consistent. Like if you say, I'm a consistent person, I'm going to be consistent, even if you're not consistent, you fake it till you make it. You fake being that person who is consistent and able to do it on that schedule until eventually, hey, you've been doing it for a year on this schedule. It's a habit now. You are that person. You're no longer faking it. That's what fake it till you make it is all about. It's not about, trying to turn yourself into a different person. It's about the habits. And like you said, it's about that confidence. Fake having confidence. You're going into something, you don't know what you're doing, pretend that you do, and you'll figure it out along the way, is a lot different than, doesn't matter how you're feeling, doesn't matter how shit you're feeling, doesn't matter what's going on in your life, get out there and pretend that everything is alright. That's the part where, like you said, you will end up hating yourself. You will end up going, God, I don't have it in me today to act like nothing is wrong. And that's where everything spirals. So fake it till you make it is brilliant advice. You just have to use it properly.
Yeah, or like that entire time you're faking it, and that's not you. So like, let's say however long it takes you to make it, and you fake being this person, and then you go into who you really are, and that ain't the person everyone is there for. And then they're like, who the fuck are you? No, I'm gone. I'm done.
Yep.
Like you can fake being happy for the most part for so long. I mean, people will eventually pick up on your little quips and cues, and people can tell if you're like with it or not. But if you're like doing a personality or a persona, like, and that's what you need, you want people to think you're that, like, you're eventually gonna fuck up, and you're gonna show who you really are.
Yeah, and I think especially VTubers struggle with that, because our whole shtick is that we're someone else, right? Our whole shtick is we are this two-dimensional character, and a lot of people, I think, put a lot of time and effort into making these great characters with awesome amounts of depth and personality and everything, and they're really cool ideas, but then they have to be that person all day, every day, over and over and over again. And it's kind of like if you were to suddenly start playing your D&D character all day, every day in real life. That's not good. You're not going to be able to keep that up. Which is why I think the people that are successful, that do see success when it comes to VTubing in particular, and of course it goes to face streamers as well, there's this whole idea of like turning yourself up to 11, having your on-camera personality. But VTubers in particular, I think, are really much more susceptible. If you create your persona as your VTuber or as your on-screen self in a way that is much more true to who you actually are, in the long run, you're going to be better for it.
Yeah, 100%. You ready to talk about the controversial shit?
Oh, I am so ready. Right. Lay it on me. Here we go. Strap in.
I've been wanting to talk to another content creator about this, especially in the past couple of days. Especially today, since the game went live for a certain amount of people. Hogwarts Legacy. I would like to think, if you're on Twitch, you know what the fuck is going on. 100% what's going on. I don't say this, and I think you use this term too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the letter mafia, or
The Alphabet Mafia.
Alphabet Mafia. I don't think it's the majority of them. I think it's a lot of the trans community part of that, and a smaller subgroup has been very vocal about if you buy the game, if you stream the game, you're transphobic. That's not very fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think maybe before we talk about like how we feel about it, maybe we should just talk about what actually is the controversy. Like why do people have an issue with this game? Like what is the allegation?
So J.K. Rowling, the creator of Harry Potter, has said not very great things about the trans community. She's, as far as I know, she's very pro-gay, bi, queer, lesbian. As far as I remember, not so much into the trans part of the Alphabet Mafia. Now, I have, like, last week when you know, like, this war's been building up, so to say. I looked to see, like, what she said. Like, I wasn't looking for op-eds. I wasn't looking for people's opinions of her. I was actually looking for her tweets. Because you can get someone on either side of it, or any side of it, to where they like her, they don't care, they hate her. You're going to get their opinion. I'd rather just see what she said and form my opinion off of that. I think the big thing that she said was, she was talking about women, and she just didn't say woman. She said a female that's able to give birth. And I think that was the biggest offensive thing. Am I correct on that? Do you know anything?
Yeah. So it's my understanding that J.K. Rowling, she is what's known as a TERF, which is what does that stand for? Trans exclusionary radical feminism. Basically, her idea of a woman, and she's expressed this several times in several different ways. Her idea of a woman does not include transgender women. So, a woman, according to her, is someone who was born biologically female. They were born that way. That's what a woman is, and she's very pro-woman. She's very pro female rights, and she's very pro, equal operations and equal opportunities and stuff like that for men and women. But when she's talking about women, her definition is you were born biologically a woman.
Yeah, point blank period.
Yes, point blank period. Like, she does not see trans women in particular. Like, I've not really seen her say much about trans men. But trans women in particular, she kind of has made it very clear that if you were born biologically male, that's it. You're biologically male. You can't be a woman. I don't care about you, and you're right. I care about women. And for those in the transgender community, that's a huge issue, because trans men are men, trans women are women, and they're like, hey, yo, bitch, we're women. The fuck is wrong with you? So I think that ultimately comes down to the issues that people have with J.K. Rowling. And so when it comes to Harry Potter, in particular, she is the creator of Harry Potter. I remember reading something, and I don't know how much of this is propaganda, because propaganda is a big thing. But I remember reading something about how she started writing Harry Potter on napkins at, like, a local diner, right? Like, that's how Harry Potter started. So she created Harry Potter. She obviously wrote the books, then it became movies and a theme park and spin-offs and everything else. So at the end of the day, when there's a Harry Potter game coming out, J.K. Rowling is attached. And therefore, so is all of her problematic views in some way.
Which is is dumb. Like I gotta say that. Like, she didn't create the game. It's just her property. It's not Portkey Games. It's not the developers or publishers. Yes, is she gonna get some money off of this? Yeah, definitely she is. I can almost guarantee you all the people that made that game, I bet you none of them are phobic. That's not right to say, but I doubt that they're like the majority of them are phobic. To think that there's absolutely 100% no phobic people in any of those studios would be naive of me to say. But
I agree.
I mean, I'll tell you, like, I streamed the game earlier. When I was making a character this morning, you could make a character, I always make a female character, a redheaded female, always, 100%, if I have the ability to. You can
I'd just like to take a moment to point out and say that I was not created by Rogue. This was purely a coincidence.
It's not. And you can, in the game, you can you can make a female character and you can identify as a wizard or vice versa. You can be a male character and identify as a witch. So that's obviously, J.K. Rowling's obviously had no fucking, not even a toe in that. But, and that's fine. Like, she could be called transphobe because she obviously is transphobic. But the biggest thing, and with me, and I don't want to speak for you, I'll let you say your piece because this is something that's very touchy, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is it's not fair for just to even just play the game. If you're a non-streamer, you're going to be labeled as a transphobe. Like, what about all the people that somehow live under a rock? They just love Harry Potter, and they play this game. And they're like, oh, I got the Harry Potter game. They're talking to their friends or out at a bar or something. And someone that's trans or someone that supports trans rights or just, the alphabet mafia just comes over and just goes, oh, you fucking phobic person, blah, blah, blah. And they have no idea what the fuck's going on. I highly doubt that's the case. Like, if you bought the game, you know exactly what the fuck's going on. But that's not fair to say. I know we have trans people in our communities. I've befriended one, and Jackal comes to mind. I hope if she sees that I play that game, I hope she doesn't think I'm transphobic, But and if she does, that sucks, But at the end of the day, I'm not, and I'm gonna play a game because one, I like that IP. Harry Potter's great. It was part of a lot of our lives. I didn't have to read it. I don't even think it was in schools or even written yet when I graduated high school. It's a great book series, movies, all that shit. But to label someone a transphobe for liking it is a little ridiculous. There's been a website put up to cancel streamers for it.
Yep. Oh, I saw that.
That's ridiculous. Just and this is why I think it's a small, loud minority of trans people that are doing it. I'm sure it's a lot of people, but probably in general, it's probably a small community of them, but of trans people. But you're literally fighting hate with more hate. You have the trans community that are like, oh, we'll cancel you, we'll label you a transphobe, and then you got people that probably would have never bought the game are now going to go buy the game just to throw it in the face of trans people. Now, those two extremes, you're both assholes, 100%. Let people consume what they want. Like, they're not, because most of the people are going to play Harry Potter because they love fucking Harry Potter. It looks like a badass game. I'm having fucking tons of fun playing it. Not once am I like, oh man, I hate chicks with dicks or something like that. It's like, no. Like, fuck J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter's the shit. And to be labeled a fucking transphobe because I played a video game is fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of see this issue as just a larger extension of something that has been happening for a while now that I don't particularly agree with. The last time that I personally, had anything to do with a sort of controversy over a game was with FNAF, right? Like, we were in the middle of playing FNAF, and all of this stuff about Scott Cohen was starting to come out. People are like, "Oh, he donated the Republican Party. He donated to them. He doesn't like trans people. He doesn't like the gays. He doesn't like these people. We're going to boycott FNAF." And my whole thing was, okay, so a private citizen with his own private money decided that he was going to donate to the political campaign of his choice. He did not come out and say, "I donate Republican because I don't like the gays." He just said, "I donate Republican." And there could be any number of reasons for that. And we're trying to cancel an entire game series. We're trying to cancel FNAF and everything else because of that. You guys are just being stupid now, right? I kind of feel like the Harry Potter thing is very similar to that, in that, like you said, Harry Potter itself has grown to such a degree that Harry Potter is not really about J.K. Rowling. Like, it stopped being her baby years ago. Harry Potter, like, yes, on paper, legally, it belongs to her because she created it. She has the rights and all of that, aside from what she sold and licensed elsewhere. But at a certain point, something gets big enough and it gets popular enough and it gets ingrained with enough people that it's not really the original creators anymore. Like, look at Star Wars. Like, Star Wars doesn't belong to George Lucas. Star Wars is a cultural phenomenon. It belongs to everybody. And I feel like Harry Potter is definitely one of those things, like, especially in my generation, like, people around my age group, we grew up with it, right? So it's kind of ours. It defined a lot of, our childhoods and stuff like that. It had a large impact on a lot of people. It's not about J.K. Rowling anymore. Like, sure, she owns it on paper, but it's not hers. So that is the first and foremost thing that I think people really need to be able to realise and recognise. And then, on top of that, yes, I can absolutely 100% agree all day of the week that the whole idea of, TERF, the whole idea of TERF just makes me sick, and it's stupid, and you're an idiot, and I'm not going to say you're transphobic, I'm going to say you're transmythic, because, you're not afraid of trans people, you just hate them. That's mythic. You're transmythic. Yeah, I will say that all day of the week. Yes, I fully believe, in my opinion, J.K. Rowling is transmythic, and that's problematic, and that's an issue, and, that's a whole deal. But Harry Potter is not. Harry Potter itself is not, transmythic. It's not. And when it comes to this new game, as you mentioned, you've played it, you've actually been there, you can see that there's gender-inclusive character creation. I'm also aware of the fact that there is a canonically transgender witch character. I guess her name is Cyrona Ryan, and she works at one of the pubs in the game. She's canonically...
Yes. I literally ran into her before I called you.
Yeah. So, people getting up in arms about trans issues and about LGBTQIA plus issues, I think that is a good thing, right? Like, if there's something out there that's fucked up, absolutely shout it to the rooftops, band together, start boycotting, get things changed. But it's when we're doing that, when we're focusing that time and energy and attention at something that's not damaging, that you're just damaging yourself, right? Like, take J.K. Rowling completely out of the picture. Take her and all of her stupid Twitter posts out of the picture of this game, right? So you just have this game. It's about witches and wizards doing witches and wizards thing. When you log in, you can make a male-looking or female-looking character, and you can identify it as either a witch or a wizard. You know, you can identify them however you'd like. That's inclusivity right there. This is what we want. We want inclusivity. You have a canonically transgender character in the game, and it's not just like a little background side character, at least from my understanding. My understanding is that this person does play a part in your story and in your experience to some extent. What extent that is, I don't personally know. I've not played it.
I can tell you, like, literally, I ran into her in the game before I called you, and it's very positive. Like, right off the bat, you can tell it's a trans woman. And I think they made it very noticeable on purpose. Like, it's obviously a female body, but she has a male voice trying to make it feminine. And the character's a badass. And it's like right there, I have a feeling she's gonna play a larger role later down in the story. But I can tell you it's very positive so far.
Yeah, so from all accounts, we have inclusivity in terms of just character creation, and then we have what appears, at least at first glance, to be positive representation within the game. So what exactly are we mad about here? How is any of this damaging to the trans community? I would genuinely and truly like to know, how is the game itself, as it's being presented, how is the game harmful, transphobic, transmissic? How does this hurt the transgender community? If anything, this should be a positive example of the type of thing that we're looking for, right? We're getting inclusivity, we're getting positive representation. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is a good thing. Why are we angry? We're angry because of the creator who is hands-off, completely hands-off, right? And we know this simply because with her views and the way that she has expressed everything, we know if she was hands-on, we would not have that positive representation. We would not have that inclusivity. So clearly she's hands the fuck off of this. So where exactly is our problem? Please someone tell me.
It's a stub of the toe is the problem. Like, literally, just because she's a piece of shit and she had nothing to do with this, because it's her creation, is the problem. You know, and I've been trying for days, I've been trying to think of a comparison to where, you know, you have a bit of work that's fucking loved by people, and then, but the creator's a piece of shit. Like, I was going to try and use like Tom Cruise as an example, with him being like a crazy ass Scientologist and shit, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. But as you were talking, huh?
I just said it's a cult.
Yeah,
cult.
But as you were talking, I thought of the ultimate one, H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh God, yes.
H.P. Lovecraft. He was a fucking a racist. He was xenophobic.
A complete and total shitbird.
Yes. What he named his cat. Fucking horrible. But what he created has spanned over 100 years now of people taking his shit and expanding this great horror universe, and people don't even think. Like, if you know he was a fucking racist, xenophobic piece of shit. Most people don't even know that, to tell you the truth. But anyone that loves horror and knows about Lovecraftian horror knows that he's, you know, a shitty person. But
yeah, a raging shit.
Yeah, but people have taken that and they've created an even larger universe and books, movies, fucking video games, and it will never go away. and everyone just knows H.P. Lovecraft created it, but shit ton of other people have come behind him, fucking wiped out all that negative shit, and then has created a better world for his content. And I think that's what H.P. Lovecraft's going to end up being. J.K. Rowling's is everyone's going to forget her. Like, yeah, you're going to see her name on the book and whatnot, but all they're going to remember is Hogwarts. The movies, the books. I think that's all it's going to, like, further down the line. Probably not in our lifetime. It'll probably be like, H.P. Lovecraft shit where, that it's the wrongdoings are forgotten. But he is the perfect example. Granted, if H.P. Lovecraft was getting started today, he would have got nowhere. And his works would have never made it anywhere. And we'd be without this great content from this extremely shitty person. And I feel like J.K. Rowling's is the H.P. Lovecraft of our time.
I think you're absolutely right. Moondu here, who is in fact a trans creator, she brings up a point here, which is wonderful, and I think is something that we should address. She says, I think the big issue is that Rowling still gets royalties from the game, and we know her money goes to anti-trans groups. So I have some thoughts about this that I'd like to address, but I kind of would like to let you go off first about this particular point. So the argument being, if we boycott this game, J.K. Rowling gets less money from it, and therefore she cannot funnel that money into anti-trans groups.
Are you talking?
I was I muted?
Okay, no, you said and trans groups, and I thought you had more to say.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No.
So
that was Wendy's point, and I feel like that's a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the shit part about it. Is yes, obviously she's gonna get some royalties from this game, and she can put that money to whatever she wants, anti-trans groups, and whatever, and that fucking sucks. It really does. There's no way to justify that. I can make one giant ass fucking point here, but it kind of just because the big part is, yes, that money's going towards, in some way, shape, or form, anti-trans people. But at the same time, like, people that are getting extremely upset about this, trying to cancel people and label people just for playing the game as transphobic, is a lot of these people are using phones that are made by slave labor. So, like, those are two extremes, and I didn't, like, it's almost a bad comparison, but this doesn't sound good, but, like, I would rather none of that shit happens. I don't want slavery. I don't want fucking anti-trans shit going, money going because of fucking J.K. Rowling. But no matter what, but I guess what I'm saying is, no matter what we do, our money is going to go towards negative shit that we have no control over. And everyone is within their right to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy the game because I know some of this money is going to go towards anti-trans stuff. And that's, you know what? Everyone has a right to do that. A lot of us, me included, I did buy the game, but I bought the game because I love Harry Potter. I love video games. And I'm not transphobic. And just me and whoever that have no negative thought process in this, that's not fair to anyone that just wants to play the game. Is, oh, now you support transphobia. No, we don't. Like, it's a hard discussion, but people are making leaps and bounds to
Yeah,
you know I
yeah. People have taken it really far, really far. For me personally, the way I look at it when it comes to the game itself, uh, you know, if she takes her money and wants to funnel it into anti-trans activism, if she wants to funnel it into anti-trans groups, that's something that she's going to do, regardless of whether or not I buy this game. She has already made her money. She already has made her fuck you money. This woman made millions and millions and millions of dollars off of the books before anyone knew anything about her views, right? So she already had that money before anyone even knew what she was actually like. And so if we consider that, yeah, it sucks. It sucks that this shitty person made something that we all loved so much and we all gave her money. There are very few people in this world, at least in our generation, that did not directly contribute to J.K. Rowling amassing her massive fortune. But here's the thing. She's already amassed that fortune. She already has that money, right? And with investing and everything else, she could not make another dime for the rest of her life. And she can still funnel money into these groups.
Yep.
Right? Not buying this game, not playing this game, is not going to stop her from doing that. The only thing that not buying this game is going to do is it's going to signal to the people that worked on the game, right? The company that bought the licensing, the developers, the actual programmers, the art, the people that did the art, voice actors, everyone else. What it's going to signal to them, in my personal opinion, is, hey, it doesn't matter what your personal feelings on the work are, on the work that you do is. It doesn't matter that you are not transphobic, you're not transmissic. It doesn't matter that you have taken time and effort to do your best job of giving positive representation and of giving inclusion. None of that matters. None of it matters. It's all for nothing. You don't make money. You don't make money. People don't play your game. They don't enjoy what you have spent all of your time and effort on, because that is the trans agenda. The trans agenda is either you do exactly what they tell you, exactly the way they tell you, or everything you do is pointless, is a waste of time, is a waste of effort, is a waste of money, and it doesn't matter how much you try. That is why, in turn, because that is the way that things are being painted and things are being spun, you do get those assholes that are out there being like, oh, well, the trans agenda says that if I support this game, we're going to have less transgender, freedom and less transgender rights, because this money is going directly into the pocket of people who are going to fix this shit, right? And then you get those assholes that are like, oh, I'm cancelling my pre-order so I can upgrade! That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how you get those assholes. Instead, what we have to realise, what I think people have to realise, is no matter whether you buy the game or not, J.K. Rowling is going to be J.K. Rowling. She already has the money to do whatever she's going to do. Your $20, $50, $60, $80 is not going to make a difference to her and to everything that she is doing against the transgender community. The difference that it's going to make is it's going to make a difference for the people that actually sat there and worked on the game and tried to be inclusive and tried to give positive representation. That's the people that it's going to affect.
Yep. 100%. The fact that they put a trans woman in there, the fact that you can be male or female and identify as the opposite. I think that was a huge fuck you to J.K. Rowling's by the developers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we could, of course, we could pick it apart and we can go, hey, so yeah, you can identify as, a male or a female, and like it could go further, right? We could have non-binary representation, we could have, alternate pronouns, we could have a lot of things. But you can say that of anything. Anything out there could be more inclusive. It could be more representative. You could always do more. And, we want to get to a point where that is what we do, I'd love to see games where the default is not male-female, but it's male-female non-binary. I'd love to see that just become the standard. But we're not there yet, and, that's a place to go.
Yeah, not
but
all
the
games,
fact
but I think
that
Cyberpunk did that.
Was made.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying, the fact that the effort was made, I think, is the important bit. And if we're going to boycott the game when that effort was made, the only thing that we're signaling to the company, to the developers, to everyone else, that, it's not good enough for us.
Yeah, all in small steps. I mean, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, is I think Cyberpunk did it. I think you could. I don't know about at least the pronouns, like being cis male or whatever. But you could literally make a male with tits, a chick with a dick. Like that. It got pretty pretty detailed what you could do with your character, which I thought was pretty cool. But and then sometimes it's like, probably with this, they're like, well, we'll put in what we can to be inclusive. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, we can't, it doesn't work with this aesthetic to be, I'm a cis wizard female or however that would work out. Because you actually have to, like, name your character first and last name, so just the fact that you can identify as the opposite is great, and the fact that they actually have a trans woman in there is also phenomenal. And they probably did everything that they could, probably considering the resources and time. I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that's something that we, I think, have to be able to take into consideration, is that within certain licenses and stuff like that, especially if you think about Harry Potter in particular, right? It's a world that's already been established. There are witches and wizards in this world, and then, you've also got muggles and a bunch of other magical creatures. But this is a world that's already been established and already been defined, and within that world, if you were to start including a bunch of things that were not touched on in the original source material, right? You now have to do a lot of creation. You have to do a lot of writing. You have to figure out, well, how are these things handled? And I think a big part of Harry Potter in particular was a lot of us grew up with these characters. And I think that they were pretty reflective of kind of the things that we were going through. We were dealing with teachers that we don't like and, hating them as a small child, and then as you grow up you realise, oh, they were actually looking out for us the whole time, stuff like that, which social issues, time period issues, stuff like that already exist in that world. And if we wanted to make Harry Potter much more inclusive, we'd have to include that social commentary within the world of Harry Potter, where it doesn't exist, and we're not the writers of Harry Potter, like, who knows how trans issues are handled in the world of Harry Potter? Who knows how gay issues are handled in the world of Harry Potter? We don't know. We can speculate, but at some point someone would have to sit down and write it out and decide, this is the social construct within this magical world that was originally created for children.
Yeah.
And while it would be brilliant to do that, and you can say, well, it's not that hard, when you consider the fact that you need writers, you need art design, you need to go through years and years of lore, it becomes an extensive project to do it properly, doing justice not only to the original franchise, but to the actual social issues themselves. Then it becomes a big and expensive project. And a lot of things, like making a game, they have a budget that they can work with, and that's to go to assets and paying people for their work and all of that. They probably don't have the budget to sit down and undertake this giant project of rewriting the social construct of the world of Harry Potter on top of it. And we have to kind of be understanding of that. Like, we can do certain things with the budget and the time constraints that we have, but we can't do everything right here and now. And to smack people for that, I think is just plain out wrong.
Yeah, and clearly in this game they're making steps to put it into the world. And yes, there was speculation that Dumbledore was gay. I think J.K. Rowling actually did come out and say he was gay. Shads, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. Sorry, I didn't want to pay off while she was talking. Welcome in. We're talking about the lovely controversy of Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate it very much. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So, Dumbledore was gay. Yeah, she did come out and say that Dumbledore was gay. The game is starting to put, I think, that in the lore of, okay, there are trans people. There's obviously gay people in in the Harry Potter lore, but now let's start putting trans people in Harry Potter lore, kind of like like the H.P. Lovecraft shit, like and people just taking liberties with this shit. It took, I'm sure a lot of shit was fucking changed throughout the years with H.P. Lovecraft. And it took a while to weed out a lot of the xenophobia and racism out of his work. Mm-hmm. But I think it was done. But that's also part of where his storytelling came from. That's why it was always like, was it Doggin, where it's like the fish people. And I'm sure there's some racist shit for that in his mind. Also, they're also saying, and I think they're just dogpiling on J.K. Rowling's, and this may or may not be true, but people are also saying that the bank goblins are Jews, and you're also anti-Semitic.
I can definitely see where those parallels come from if you just look at, the very, very anti-Jewish stereotypes. You can definitely look at it and say, oh, well, people that don't like Jews and have that whole anti-Semitism thing. A lot of the talking points that they'll go over is, that they're money grubbers, they're all about money, they have long noses, that sort of thing. Those are kind of like the stereotypes. So when you're looking at the goblins who have the long hooked noses and they handle all the money, it's very easy to see the parallels there if you're looking for them.
But goblins have been that way forever.
Something that were actually, but whether or not that was something that was actually intended, the only person that knows that is J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, and I don't think she's ever come out and been like, "Oh yeah, the goblins are in my world are Jews." Like, I don't think she's ever said that into a microphone or written it on anything. I think that one might be a stretch, and that's just a dog pile on her with negative shit. Granted, I'm not defending her at all. I'm just saying is, if you play or watch the game or stream it, you're transphobic. Oh, and by the way, you're also anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I mean, the speculation there, I can see it. I think at this point, it's most likely, at least in my opinion, it's most likely a stretch. It's entirely possible, but we just don't have the information, and all you can do is speculate there.
Yeah, I don't know if Kanye is a big Harry Potter fan. I think if J.K. and Kanye start hanging out, I think that'll be a tell.
Yeah. Listen, everything that I just said about the goblins, if J.K. Rowling and Kanye West start hanging out, I take it all back. I was completely wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, well, let's walk that one back. Never mind. We're sorry. She does hate Jews.
Yep. But until such time as that happens, I'm going to stick with. I can see it. You know, I can see the parallels. I think it's a bit of a stretch. I don't have the information, so
yeah,
I can't really say.
I mean, I think goblins have always been depicted as long-nosed, like, well,
little creatures.
Yeah,
you know. And whether or not that in and of itself, you know, was based around a stereotype is a whole other issue. You know, it's kind of like the etymology of a word. What is the etymology, as it were, of the creation of, you know, the goblin archetype?
I mean, you could say
that's like some brain stuff right there.
You could say Tolkien was an anti-Semite then. You know, like he wrote one of the best fantasy series of all time, and he had goblins in it. You'd be like, well, he's anti-Semitic too. But you're right. Excuse me. Unless it's she physically says it, you can hear her say it. It's written down in a tweet or something, or she starts hanging out with Kanye. It's just
Yep. But I think, you know, what we should really look at is something that we've kind of touched on the entire time, which is if you purchase this game, if you stream this game, you are transmissic, you're anti-LGBTQ, and we will come for you. You know,
and
you will be cancelled. I think we should talk about that a little bit.
That's even like, now let's say you're gonna stream it, and you're going on there, and just name your stream. Granted, Twitch wouldn't let it through, or even YouTube. Be like, I'm playing this game because I hate trans people and Jews. I highly doubt. Now there are some people that are buying this game just to spit in the face of the trans community.
Yeah, that absolutely are. And as mentioned at the top of the stream, you guys are assholes.
Yeah, and you know, like, well, people ended up buying the deluxe edition just so they could play it today, just in spite. And it's like, oh, come on, man. Which will probably end up turning this game into like one of the most, definitely top 10 games sold of all time. Not just because it's Harry Potter and the game looks fucking phenomenal, and so far it's super fun. Just because out of spite of another group of people. And you have the majority of people on the in-between who are not transphobic or an anti-Semite, and they're like, I just want to play this because it looks fun and I love Harry Potter. But, you know, then there's a website created to cancel people that do that. Granted, I'm a nobody in the streaming world, but I still streamed it earlier just because I love the game. No agenda. I just want to have fun and stream it. That's it.
Yeah, you know, I think for the vast majority of people who are going to buy and play the game, they don't care about this whole, is it anti-trans, is it not anti-trans? I think they don't care. They're just like, Harry Potter, wizards go burr. This is it. This is what I just want to play Harry Potter. I just want to be a wizard. I just want to fly around on a broomstick and wave my magic stick at people. You know, like, I feel like the vast majority of people, that's what it is. And as we talked about, you know, before, there is that inclusivity, there is that positive representation. And if what your goal is, you know, if the larger overarching transgender agenda is to have the average person who is not a member of the transgender community to encounter transgender people and just accept it as normal, as just, this is just how things are, you know, that we're just people. I think that is, if that's the overarching goal, then that's what you want. You want people who don't give a shit about the overarching, you know, controversy, about, you know, the questions, is it this, is it that, that are just like, wizard go burr. You want those people to encounter transgender players, transgender characters, and just have them exist. You know, they're not the focus of the game. They exist, they're included, they're here, it's normal. Wizards go burr. That's a positive thing. That's what we want. That's how you get inclusivity. You know, if you truly want to just be accepted as who you are as a transgendered person, is that not what you want? You don't want people to look at you and go, oh, you're trans and I respect you because you're trans. No, you just want someone to look at you and go, hey, fellow human being, what's up? You're either an asshole or you're not, just like all the rest of us. Like, that should be the big thing here. And I feel like by making it a trans issue when it's not harmful or damaging is directly undermining that. It's directly undermining that, because now you've got people... Yeah, you're making it damaging, not only for, you know, people who are transgender, right? Because now you've given all of those transmissic assholes a weapon to use against you. You've told them, hey, this bothers me, so now they're going to go out and they're going to do it on purpose because they know it bothers you. You've handed them a weapon. But on top of that, you're taking all of the people who really didn't care either way, that just wanted to wizards go burr, and you're telling them, hey there, if you play this game because we've decided we don't like it, you're an asshole, you don't deserve a platform, we're going to come after you, we're going to cancel you, we're going to harass you, we're going to label you as an asshole. What are you doing? You're alienating people who, you know, could be potential allies, and in a lot of cases are allies. For what? Because writer lady is an asshole? Yeah. Like, I kind of feel like maybe we've lost the plot a little bit here somewhere.
Yeah, it's just like radicalizing American Muslims, like when the war started, or like, well, I'm not being political here. I'm just going to state facts. Is when Trump wanted to put all the Muslims on a registry, right? What you did is just made American Muslims fucking hate America, and you just probably radicalized them. And what the hate coming out of the trans community with canceling and that hate towards this game, or people just want to go wizards go burr, are now radicalizing people against trans people because of that like outcry of negativity, like the overreacting of negativity. Yes, we know J.K. Rowling is transphobe or transmythic. You know, she's an asshole. But wizard go burr. We want to have fun. There was a lot of these people had no, like you said, no stake in the alphabet mafia, and now because they're getting all this heat from a group that, you know, They're like, yeah, you're here, cool. Fucking, we're people, we're human beings. Now they're getting, you fucking hater. They're like, well, fuck you. Now they start disliking a group of people because of a minority of a group wants to be super toxic and hateful. And the only thing that's gonna breed love out of any of this, or, you know, bring us all the common ground, is to be like, hey man, J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit. Go after J.K. Rowling. She's the issue. Not the people playing the game or reading the books or fucking watching her movies. J.K. Rowling's the issue. But you want to attack people that have fucking nothing to do with her ideologies. So now you're radicalizing people against your cause. Against your who you are. Like, that's...
You know, I'm a DC girl myself, and there's a brilliant quote from the Joker that I think has been restated in 1,000 different times in 1,000 different ways. But if someone hates you for no reason, give that jerk a reason. And I feel like that's exactly what we're doing here, right? Like, you've got just an average Joe, doesn't care about all of this nonsense, again, just wants to wizards go bear. And now suddenly they've got this loud, screaming mass of people saying, you're transphobic, you're transmissic, you're an asshole. And they're like, I'm not. I just wanted to play some wizards. But if you're going to hate me anyway, all right, I might as well be a transphobic asshole.
Yeah, now I'm going to give you
a reason. If that happens to even one person, congratulations, you've made your own problems worse.
Yeah, and Scotty makes a good point too. Is the he, her, dude, whatever, ma'am, sir. I've had to walk myself back, and it's not out of disrespect. It's just I referred to someone who I thought, and it's been in, you know, your community. It's been in people I've met, and I've been like, "How you doing, ma'am or sir?" And they're like, "It's the opposite." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I moved past it. I moved past it with humility because I was in the wrong. I just didn't know. And then I referred to it in the proper way. And that's, and the people who go, no, I'm, you know, I identify as female or whatever. I say, I'm sorry. And then I refer to that person as such. And it doesn't go beyond that. That's the way it should be. Is, okay, I didn't know. My bad. Fucking move on. But if that person would have continually like berated me about it, like that, like, and I'm just a stubborn person, and you know, I'm human. Just that person, that trans person, I probably would have been an asshole to it. Like, at first I would have been like, listen, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, I will, you know, refer to you as you wish. It's just I didn't know. We'll move up past this. You're whatever. And, you know, that happens all the time to people, and that you know, gets people against their cause, makes a community of people look like dickheads. People make mistakes, dude. I'm about, you know, I'm 39 years old. Like I said, like at the top of the show, like I grew up in a time where we called each other fags and gay all the time, and it was okay. It wasn't a problem, you know. You know, a lot of gays and queers, the whole LGBT plus whatever, wasn't really a thing. It was around, but like, you know, and I've grown up. When I became an adult, I started being around more gay people. I befriended a lot of gay people. Then that started becoming more accepting. I've changed my lexicon. I've changed the way I act and how, like, my own ideologies. It's the same with trans people. I've changed. But, like, when people want to try to use hate to get their point across, to make them love you or love what they are, or like use it to make them like part of everything, you're not going to do it. You're going to radicalize them, and they're going to fucking hate you and whatever you stand for. So if someone, and this is how I am, like I call people dude. Doesn't matter guy, girl, doesn't matter how you identify. I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? That's just how I talk. Like if someone does that, or someone misgenders you, just say, can you please refer to me as such and such? And that person goes, oh, no problem. There you go. That person is willing to respect you for who you are and how you identify. And that's how it should be met. It should be met like that. Instead of showing anger and hate, it should be, okay, well, I'm this. Can you please refer to me that? They show you respect. You move on. That's how we start respecting each other, accepting each other, and all this hate, like this big controversy, doesn't happen. Like, okay, J.K. Rowling, fucking piece of shit. Let's go. But you don't have people starting to fucking hate each other because, the trans community, and I know it's not all the trans people, are going, fuck you, fuck all of you, fucking like this, blah, blah, blah. And you're turning people that had no problem with you against you now. And that goes with anything in life, is if you fight something with hate, with more hate, you're just going to create a bigger circle of hate. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't think it's all members of the transgender community that are doing this. The vast majority of people that I know, I definitely have used a wrong pronoun before. I've definitely done it. I've used a wrong name before. I've had an incorrect assumption, and for the vast majority of people that I know, they're just like, hey, actually, it's she, her, or hey, actually, my name is X, and I'll be like, oh shit, I am so sorry. And they're like, hey, don't worry about it, and that's the end of it. The vast majority of people that I know are like that, like it's not a huge, I'm going to cancel you because you accidentally called me he instead of she. A lot of them, it's just a gentle little, hey, yeah, no worries. And I'm obviously not transgender, but there are things in my own life with my own boundaries where it's like that. It's like, hey, I don't like when you talk to me that way. And someone will be like, oh shit, I am so sorry. I'm like, yeah, no worries. Now you know for the future. That's just part of being human. It's just a lot more visible when it comes to trans issues, I think, because it's something that's so in your face about it, right? So I think it probably is definitely a very vocal minority of people that are just up in arms about every single thing, and I'm so triggered, you used my wrong pronoun, you're the worst person ever. I feel like for the vast majority of the trans community, that's not the case. But the big argument coming from the transphobic side of the world, from the transmissic side of the world, that's what they want you to do. That's what they say every single one of you do. Every single one of you is like that, according to the transmissic people. And so when we're talking about radicalizing people against your cause, you have one group saying, anytime you use the wrong pronoun, you're going to get cancelled, someone's going to get into a shouting match with you over it. And someone will be like, yeah, I don't know, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem that like people would be like that. They're just people. And then, you have someone who's like really just kind of indifferent. They're like, hey, you're a dude, you're a chick, all right, cool shit. Whatever makes you happy, awesome. But then that person encounters someone who does go off when they, happen to use a wrong pronoun or say something slightly without the right terminology, and you flip out in their face. Not only have you, made yourself look like an asshole, but now you've reinforced that stereotype that the transmythic people are saying. So now you have someone who went from, I don't know, I can't see someone getting that upset over something, to going, oh shit, you're right. They are like that. What else are you right about when it comes to those people? Right? Because you've opened that door. You were right. They do flip the fuck out over pronouns. So maybe I should listen to you. Maybe they are bad for society. Maybe they are harmful to our children. Maybe they are all pedophiles. I mean, you are right about them flipping out of pronouns. You must obviously be right about all of the other shit.
Yeah, and that's from one person, one instance that they've seen that happen.
Yeah, and it's a slippery slope from there. You don't want that happening, because we know, like, being trans does not mean you're a pedophile. Being trans does not mean you're harmful to society. Just like being a white male does not mean you're going to be a serial killer. The things are not, they're not the same. They're not correlated the way that the transphobes and the transmissics are going to try and make them. But when you start meeting things with hate, you're just reinforcing those negative stereotypes. And if you can reinforce one negative stereotype, that opens the door for people to question, well, are the other ones true as well?
Yeah, you put yourself into a hate echo chamber with the two groups that you fucking hate. And all it is, you're just bouncing hate. Because I saw someone said about transphobic people being in an echo chamber. And generally, yeah, if you have people in any way, shape, or form hate another group of people, they're generally in an echo chamber. Obviously, some of people's hate, but you have that same shit with any community. It doesn't matter what it is, racist, just regular people, fucking trans. And in this case, the trans community, which I'm, like we've said, we think it's a small minority that started this, let's cancel people shit, is they've shouted so loud that it's gone across all the way to the side that they're yelling at, but you've picked up some collateral damage along the way. And then you got the people that are transphobic fucking fighting that so much, and it's going back across the people that don't give a fuck or just care that you're people that don't want to go against you in any way. Their bullshit's going across the line, and they're picking up people too. So it's just an echo chamber of hate that drags people in that had no say in anything, not a fucking word, and it sucks. It's the same thing with racism. Like, if you're brought up to be racist, you're probably gonna be fucking racist. If you teach your children to not be racist as you bring them up, and you teach your children to respect gays, trans people, bi, lesbian, queer, whatever, they will respect those people. But if you start teaching them, hey man, let's treat the alphabet people with respect, and then they see that, which, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed it, everyone has a fucking camera on them. So when one person of a group does something stupid, it's getting fucking recorded, and it's gonna get fucking quantified like that. So
yeah.
So then, like she was saying, is that one person is gonna make your group, who shouldn't be marginalized or hated, start picking up steam in the negative aspect. And
exactly. It's a really misguided way of doing things, and I feel like you're going, for as long as you have transgendered people, you're going to have people who are transphobic, transmissic, right? But that is the same for any group. As long as you have vegans, you're going to have people who hate vegans. As long as you have redheads, you're going to have people who hate redheads. That's just human nature. There's always going to be someone who does not like you, right? No amount of screaming and yelling at the people who don't like you is going to make them like you anymore. But what it is going to do is it's going to teach people who either already do like you or who are ambivalent about you, just don't give a shit, it's going to teach them to also hate you.
Yeah,
What you want is you want the people who are in the middle to go, hey, you're just a regular, everyday, average person. I'm cool with that.
yeah, deserves
That's what you
respect and
want.
love. That's it.
And so, if we are attempting to cancel a game that is providing that, right? Like, we're showing the people in the middle who, are ambivalent or who even are supportive. Hey, look at this. Inclusivity. Trans people exist. Trans people are valid. Here they are in our game, just being everyday average people, or in this case, witches and wizards. Cool. Life as normal. Now we go on. You're telling them, hey, no, bad you. You're terrible. You're a horrible person. You're teaching them to hate you. You're teaching them to not be on your side. You're teaching them that having trans inclusivity is not normal and is in fact something out of the ordinary, and I should be paying attention to it, and now I have to have an opinion. Okay, now that I know I have to have an opinion on this, because I've been forced to have an opinion on it, I can either go with the side that says, fuck off and leave me alone, or I can go with the side that says, I need to follow this ideology in every single thing that I do and constantly be worried about whether or not something I'm doing is wrong and going to hurt someone, going to offend someone, and everything else. Which side do you think most people are going to choose? Personally, I'm more likely to choose the side that says, fuck off and leave me alone. The game I decide to play is not a statement on my political beliefs. It's a fucking video game, and I'm just trying to enjoy running around with my magic stick. And I think for a lot of people, they don't realise that. And so you're hurting more than you're helping.
Fucking wow. Yeah. Just, if anything, meet hate with love. That's the only way anything's gonna stop being, bullshit. Because beating hate with hate is just gonna, no matter what it's racism.
It would be nice if you want to touch my body.
Any hate in any form is just gonna. I'm sorry, I just laugh every time I hear my thing. Thank you for whoever followed.
Rooster! RPG Rooster, hello, best bud.
Yeah, I'm not getting any notification. I just hear the thing. It's not showing up on my feed.
Totally says, well, your alerts are kind of coming up, but they're half cut off by the overlay.
Yeah. But yeah, just this is kind of an example. The company I work for is universally hated by people that hire us, but they have to hire us. I've been with this company about a year. I called a contractor. I said, hey, can I please get a site map for XYZ? Sure. I get the site map. As soon as I get this email, this job is removed from me and I don't know where it went. There's nothing I can do about it. I go do my other work. I get a phone call from the same lady from this contractor, and she's cussing me the fuck out. And I'm just letting her yell at me. She goes, the owner of my company fucking hates you guys and we'll report you. And as soon as she said that, I go, okay, that's cool. I go, just let you know that was removed from me and there's nothing I can do about that. I would have got it done yesterday if that wouldn't have happened. I still have your email. If I can figure out what's going on, I will just go get it done for you. But I'm sorry that you hate us so much, but I'll just get it done. And her tone completely changed. Not that it wasn't because I told her I would get this shit done. It's because I didn't feed her negativity with negativity.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Where I think A lot of people, I think the majority of people, honestly, the majority of people are good. The majority of people are well intentioned. The majority of people do not want to cause harm or give offence or hurt you or anything like that, right? Um, so, assuming that everyone who doesn't think exactly the same way you do or doesn't speak exactly the same way you do is out to hurt you intentionally, I think is just fundamentally wrong. Yes, there absolutely are going to be some people who are just, raging shitbirds. That's with all areas of life. You're going to encounter some raging shitbirds. But the majority of people are not. And we're all just people. We're all just trying to get along, get through our days, and get through our lives. Right? But if you approach every single potential confrontation as a fight, you're going to find a fight everywhere.
Yep.
But if you approach things as just, hey, I'm a person, you're a person, let's communicate, 90% of the time, possibly more, the person on the other side is going to follow suit and have the same sort of response.
You're very correct on that, Rooster. Anonymity, Worcestershire. Yeah, feeds the inner trolls. I mean, there are people that do have the balls enough to like use their real names or use their face to sometimes spit hate, like because they just don't fucking care. You know what I mean? But that's part of a big problem too. Is like you use a screen name, no one knows what you look like, no one knows where you live, no one knows where you work, and people just spit vitriol and hate. That's part of the problem too. In any case.
Yeah, the anonymous nature of things allowing people to be that inner shitbird. It does make them a lot more visible, and it makes people a lot more bold. But I think at the end of the day, if you're going to be a shitbird, it's because you're a shitbird. Yeah. Just because you're secretly a shitbird does not mean you're not a shitbird. And you know what? When it comes to shitbirds, everyone would be a lot happier if they just went, "Oh, you're a shitbird? Alright, I'm not dealing with you anymore. Fuck off." Instead of trying to create a coordinated campaign to take down the shitbird. No, just let the shitbird go be a little asshole over in his sad little corner. And he can sit in his echo chamber of other douchebags.
Yeah, that's what...
And, let them slowly destroy themselves from within, because that's what they'll do.
That's how trolls get fed. Their whole thing is to fire you up, or a group of people up, or whatever up. Their point is to shitpost in any way, shape, or form, and to get a reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about the desire to cancel everyone who plays this game. So I know I've seen it, Rogue. I know you've seen it too. I know you've seen a couple of people in the chat mention it. There is a website. Where you can plug in a streamer's name to see if they have ever played this game, if they've ever streamed it, so that way you know who to cancel. Thoughts, right?
It's bullshit. I think, I'm not big on censorship at all, but I think that site should be put down. Because one, let's say you're someone like you, where your main, pretty much your income is streaming, or even like partners with Twitch or YouTube, and they decide to play this game just because they want to play it. You just fucking took their livelihood away when they have no negative say against you or anything. They're just like, oh, I want to play this game. I like Harry Potter. But nope. Now they've lost their ability to make money. And to be fair, a lot of these people that started off with streaming when they were young and made it a career, they've, at this point, if it's 10, 15 years down the road, they're 30, 35, maybe 40. They've got no world skills. What are they going to go do? They're going to go work a drive-thru at McDonald's because they're not going to get a trades job or a fucking factory job. And they're like, you're 35. What did you do? Oh, I was a Twitch streamer. As someone who used to hire people, I've been like, sorry, like, I need someone that I know can work. Not to say that you don't work, but I need someone that I know can get, bust their ass. Not to say that, streamers can't do that shit, but let's be realistic here. Is no one's gonna fucking hire someone that's been streaming for 15, 20 years to go do a manual labor job.
Yeah, like I've been sitting in front of a computer for 15 years. You should definitely hire me to carry 50-pound bags of concrete up and down stairs all day. Those two things definitely correlate, But I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. This website is bullshit. All it's going to do is create casualties of war, because, look, we have to be honest, right? What's going on is a war between the transgender community and the transphobes and the transmystics, right? That's what's going on. Now, when we talk about war, and war is terrible and horrible, and I feel safe in making the statement that most people, when it does come to war, regardless of how you feel about it, realise that the casualties of war, the innocent bystanders, when they have to suffer, when they get injured, when they get harmed, when they die, when they lose their jobs and their homes and everything else, that's like the worst part of a war, right? Is the casualties of war. That's the thing that everyone, I think, can come together on and say, we hate that, we don't like that, we don't want that to happen. Creating a website like this, you are setting it up for there to be those casualties of your war. You're bringing people into your conflict that had no business being there. Now, this is not to say that if there's a streamer out there who's like, hey guys, today we're going to be playing Hogwarts Legacy because fuck all those trans people, they should absolutely be cancelled.
Yep.
Fuck those guys. They're douchebags. Go after them, go after their platform, go after, their source of income, go after everything they own. Have at it, I'll be right there with you. But when you have someone who's just like, hey guys, I grew up with Harry Potter, I've loved it, finally my dreams are coming true, today I can be a wizard, I can finally go and play Quidditch, I can walk around with my magic stick, wizard go bear, I'm so excited. And you go after them, and now they can't feed themselves, they can't pay their rent.
Or their families.
You've done fucked up. You've created a casualty of war.
Yeah.
They weren't against you, but now they're going to be, because you just took everything from them for no reason.
Yeah. The arguing the past couple weeks, it's just saber rattling on both sides, with a lot of people in the middle, the majority of people in the middle. And that website was a salvo launched by the radical trans. And it's, I guess it's kind of taken these streamers down. Girlfriend Reviews. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
Basically, a guy and his girlfriend play video games, or she plays them, and it's games he likes. So like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, shit like that. I saw a TikTok a few hours ago where they tried streaming this morning, and that website took people there, and they were just getting fucking bombarded with hate. And like, he tells his girlfriend, he goes, just go. He goes, I'm just gonna mute chat, so I can't see it, and I'm just gonna get through this fight in the game, and then I'm shutting it down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that no one should have to deal with. And you'd think, you would really think, in particular, the transgender community would be against those kinds of actions, right? Because they themselves experience that sort of thing, especially streamers. You know, it was not too long ago that people were taking to Twitter and organizing and mobilizing to try to stop the hate raids that were coming at them specifically because they were transgender, right? We all could collectively agree hate raids are fucked up. Organizing a group of people to jump into your chat to give you shit because you are trans is fucked up and should not be a thing that happens. And then what do? We make our website specifically designed to help organize hate raids of our own towards people that we have decided are transphobic or transmissic. We don't even know for sure that they are. We've just decided that they are because they're playing this game. And so now we're going to go hate raid them. Somewhere along the line we've lost the plot, guys. What are we doing?
It's ironic, isn't it? I don't see how people don't see that. Like, we have all this information at the tips of our fingers, and people don't see that there was this huge push to stop hate raids against trans people, just in general, just to stop it, because, like, you know, people of color, minorities were getting hate raids too. So a big thing to stop that, and then you go with people that were getting all this hate are now doing the thing that they tried so hard to stop.
Yeah, it's kind of like those anti-bullying initiatives, right? Where we understand bullying is wrong, it's shitty, we should stop it. But it's okay to bully if you're a smoker, right? It's just like, it's hypocritical. It's okay to bully you over your personal choices if we don't particularly agree with that personal choice. But anything else, it's not alright. It's just the hypocrisy of it is kind of funny. And I chose that smoking example specifically because of you, Rogue, because I know how you feel about people that smoke. But you also know, you can say your piece. You can say, hey, bad for you. Really shouldn't do that. I'd prefer if you didn't. I worry about you. But ultimately, I can't stop you from doing what you're going to do. That's one thing. But when you have people just piling on and piling on and piling on, you're not going to accomplish anything. You're going to make the problem worse. And now you're doing exactly to someone else what you didn't want done to you, right? If you don't want people piling onto you because you're fat or because you have a lisp or because you're gay or whatever it is, you do not then get to go and decide it's okay to pile on someone else for any other reason, whether real or perceived.
Did you just call me fucking fat?
Yeah, obviously. Oh. Create a website to cancel me.
Cancel. www.cancelpay.com.
I will
fatphobic.
I will sell merch. I will sell merch. It'll be like my avatar, but with like 400 extra pounds packed on, surrounded by like 6 pizzas, and I'll just be like, yeah, that's right, I hate fat people. Now, excuse me while I go eat my 12th pizza of the day. I'll make millions. It'll be brilliant.
I'm just going to randomly tweet shit out this week and just put hashtag Jay's fatphobic. I used to do that shit with the Christians. Is I would take a picture of like dog shit or have like a really like shitty view on something, and at the end I'd put hashtag Jesus saves or some shit, and then I'd just get all these Christians following me, and it'd usually take them about a day or two or next time I tweeted to realize that I was just fucking with them.
So you just like to hate bait people?
Well, yeah, I was trolling them, but not like
salt bait.
it's just like I wasn't gonna keep going after him. You know what I mean? I just wanted people to. It was kind of like a fucked up way to get viewers or followers for a little bit, and it was funny. Like, no, like a couple people like would message me and be like, "That's fucked." Like, they wouldn't say it's fucked up. They'd be like, you know, Jesus this, Jesus that, and I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm just messing with you guys. You know, like it's like I don't hate you. Like I'm not a religious person. If you're religious in any way, shape, or form, good for you. But you know, just tongue in cheek, I might make fun of your religion. But it's just I would just do that because I think it was fun. Now, granted, this was like almost 10 years ago when I would do this shit. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I would do that, and we should just put hashtag pays fatphobic and then see if we can get people to start coming to you. They're like, yeah, fuck fat people.
Yeah, you know, like, listen, part of me actually kind of wants to do this as a social experiment now. Because I can guarantee you that two things will happen. One, we'll get the people who are like, yeah, fuck you, Pay, you're absolutely fatphobic, because that's what they heard. So now they believe that that's what I am. And they automatically hate me, which is awesome, because then I can just block all of those people, because clearly you don't know how to research, you don't know how to think logically for yourself. And I just honestly don't want to deal with you. And then I'll also get the people who will show up and be like, yeah, fuck fat people, right on! And I'll be like, awesome, thanks for showing up, hang tight. Now I have a list of people that I can block on that side. And then I'm just left with people in the middle who, like, either know what's going on or just really don't care about all of that bullshit. And you know what? That's more than enough people for me to be an audience, and I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, that's like the
But it would be interesting.
That is a good social experiment. We should do that.
We should. We really should.
Because I think, you know, that's a good thing. Because, you know, not too many people are get too up in arms about fat phobia. You know, it's something just innocent enough to where it's not going to be like real hateful and spark, you know, a lot of bullshit. And it's funny enough to where you can weed out the shitty people on both sides.
Yeah, like that's really how it is, and I kind of view all issues to be that sort of way. Like, I understand, I absolutely understand from both sides of an issue. You know, I feel like for most issues, there's valid complaints to be made on both sides. For 90% of issues that I've seen. But it's the people who are not willing to, you know, meet somewhere in the middle to figure things out or to be able to think about it even from an objective standpoint. I just don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not my job to teach you how to think logically. It's not my job to think you how to be a decent human being. It's not my job to teach you what respect means. And it's not my job to teach you that you can be friends, interact with, support people who don't think exactly the same way that you do and see eye to eye with you on every single issue. It's not my job to remove you from your echo chamber. And in fact, if you're going to try and pull me into your echo chamber, I'm just going to ban you, I'm going to block you, and you no longer exist in my world because I have no time or interest.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a lot happier for it.
Yeah. There's some people you just gotta, in whatever way it is, you know, cut out of your life. You know, whether it's in real life or in the streaming world.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like on both sides specifically of this issue, if you decide for yourself, despite all of the other discussion, despite everything else, if you decide for yourself you're not going to purchase this game because you believe doing so makes a statement to your own values, your own sensibilities, your own morals, you don't want J.K. Rowling to get any money, you feel like it's going to make a difference, or even if it doesn't make a difference, if it just makes you feel better about, you know, your decision and about where you stand, by all means, go right ahead, I completely support you making your own decision in not buying the game. If you choose not to watch people who stream that game because you don't want to push that game up in the rankings or anything like that and get those people, get the game more notoriety or anything like that, if that's what you want to do personally, go right ahead. I support you in your personal decision. Do not ask me to then make your personal decision that you're making for your own reasons. Do not ask me to make the same decision, and do not demand that I also make the same decision. That's kind of like when you get a vegan who goes vegan for whatever reasons, whether it's for the health benefits or to save the animals or to save the planet or whatever, right? They go vegan. They've made a personal decision. Cool deal, bro. You do you. It's when they start coming after you and pestering you and telling you should be vegan, you should be vegan, you should be vegan, you should be vegan. You're evil because you're not vegan. But I'm like, alright, you know what, just fuck off, leave me alone.
It's like, yeah, it's cool, bro. Fucking get stepping. No matter what it is. Fucking just if you disagree with someone and they're not hurting anyone, you don't like their ideologies or what they say or do, just let it go. If they're not hurting anyone, fucking let it go. Because guess what? If they don't get hurt and you don't boost them into the stratosphere for whatever reason, guess what? Then that hate and vitriol doesn't get out there. That way, the people that do think like you, they don't see that shit either. So therefore, that's less people to see that shit that you disagree with. It may not be evil. It may be something you just disagree with, that you don't like. You don't like their views or whatever it has you. They could be racist. They could be transphobic. Whatever it is. If you just ignore them and you don't give them the time of fucking day, the chances of more of that hate or whatever it is to get out is if you don't give it gasoline, the fire doesn't get bigger.
Yeah, I have an absolutely perfect example of this, which is Goodwill. Goodwill, a lot of people know what a Goodwill is. If you're not familiar with Goodwill, they're basically like second-hand stores. You can go and, donate furniture, clothing, or whatever, and it's sold at discount prices. And a lot of people who are like low income will go and do that, or people just like thrifting, or some people, just looking for specific things, antiques, whatever. That's all done through a place called Goodwill. There's several others. But Goodwill in particular, they hire a lot of disabled staff. So they might have some mental disabilities, they might have physical disabilities, and that for a long time has been a huge selling point of Goodwill, right? Like, we're Goodwill. Oh, look, we're giving jobs to people that might not otherwise be able to find a job because of their disabilities or something, and that sounds like a great thing. I found out a couple of years back now that the way in which they hire people is actually really predatory. And it's not something that I agree with, and if it's something that you're interested in knowing more about, you can go and look up like their hiring practices and their payment practices and all of that. I decided, holy shit, that's fucked up. I don't agree with that. I'm not cool with this. And I have never shopped at Goodwill again. I have never donated to a Goodwill. I've made donations elsewhere instead. But I'm not out here shouting to the rooftops, holy shit, Goodwill is fucked up! Hey, everybody, come help me take down Goodwill because they're super shitty. I leave it alone. And then, when I'm talking to a friend of mine, this actually happened sort of recently, goes like, hey, yeah, I'm headed off to Goodwill, this weekend, I'm really excited. I was like, oh, that's cool, I don't shop at Goodwill. I don't agree with their practices, but, have fun. And then my friend asks me, hey, why not? What's wrong with Goodwill? And now I have a chance to explain, here's my reasoning, here's why I don't agree with Goodwill, here's why I don't support them. And I left my friend alone to make his own decision about Goodwill. turns out he agrees with me. It's kind of fucked up. And then that's another person who's not, he's not supporting this thing that I personally think is wrong. But I didn't forcibly radicalize him. I didn't force him to stop, shopping at Goodwill. And because I didn't make him do it, and I didn't make the argument that says you're a bad person if you continue to shop there, and you've let, someone make their own decision based on the information, chances are good they're going to stick by that decision. Whereas if you try and force the moral argument onto people and the justification onto people and you go, you're a shitty person if you do this, they'll be like, all right, I'm not supposed to do it. But then they're still probably going to do it sometimes. They're still probably going to, just like Chick-fil-A, right? Like, a lot of people don't agree with Chick-fil-A. But then you'll still get people who are like, yeah, okay, I get it. They're bad people, but, I do like their fries, so every once in a while. Still going to buy that, And then they're still supporting that thing because you've tried to force that decision onto them. People are not going to change their ways. They're not going to change what they want to do or what is convenient for them to do unless they make that decision for themselves. You can't make that for them. Lasting change only happens from within. And if you want to get within people and help them see the light about any particular issue, you cannot do it with hate. You cannot do it coming at them. You simply have to present the argument in a way that is rational, in a way that is calm, in a way that does not put any sort of moral judgment onto the person, and let them make their own decision. Mm-hmm. 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 Otherwise, you radicalize people in the middle.
So what you got to do to get inside people and not come at them is be nice so you can get inside them and then come in them, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes, I want to be nice and get inside everyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, just love. That's all I gotta say about that. This whole thing is just about love. Just stop fucking. Just if you disagree with something, just disagree with it. You don't gotta shout it from the mountaintops.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, fuck Jesus chicken. I don't think any of their food's good anyway.
I've never had Chick-fil-A. Everyone tells me it's really good, and I'm like, don't care.
Yeah, like their breakfast biscuit thing is good. Like like an old district manager used to bring it when he would show up in town. It's the only time I would have it. I would never spend my own money because frankly I don't like most of their shit. I don't find worth me spending the time. Plus, they don't like gays, so that just helps my decision. But your thing with the Goodwill shit is not once in that conversation did you ever say you should do this because this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did the right thing and go, this is what I do because of XYZ. And you let it stay out there in the ether. You should never be like, you should do this. This is what I would do if I were you. Just if you got facts or an opinion, keep them there, your opinion. Don't push your opinions, or who knows if your facts are right either. Just say shit, be like, well, I don't blah, blah, blah. Bam. Fucking let people make decisions, just like you were saying. People make decisions on their own. They can fact check you, and all that shit.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why this conversation in general that we've had about Harry Potter Legacy is really important, especially right now, because I feel like people are not having the conversation. Like if you go and you try and figure out, oh my god, there's this huge controversy going on with Harry Potter. What's happening? Being able to just find information on what's going on what is the basis of this controversy, it's very difficult to find in an unopinionated sort of way. Like everyone who's promoting this controversy, that they're on one side or the other. They're on the you're transphobic if you play this game, and here's why, or they're on the hey, the transgenders hate this game. Here's why you should play it.
Yeah.
It's finding the people in the middle, which is where I think 90% of people are. That are just like, what's going on? Why is this? Why is this an issue?
Yeah, this
I'm
is
sorry,
fucking
what?
stupid. But yeah, then you got people, the regular people that have no fucking weight in this argument, not either doing something or not doing something because of other people.
Yep.
And this is so fucking dumb. It's so fucking dumb.
And we wonder why everyone refers to everyone else as sheeple.
Yeah, make your own decisions. Like I said, I'm fucking nobody in the streaming world, but I still chose to stream that this morning because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't spread any hate. It's what I wanted to do. If someone wanted to come in and start fucking with me, or even this whole time while we've been talking, if someone would have, in whatever side of the coin they wanted to fight for, I would have been more than happy to be like, why? Why do you think this way? Why has it got to be like this? Why? And I would love just to try to debunk whatever negative thing that they're saying. Because just going, fuck you, you're wrong, even if they are wrong, is not good. Give out the reason why being a decent person is right and not being on either side of that fight. Like, you should respect the fucking Alphabet Mafia just because they're human fucking beings and they don't do anything to hurt you or your family. They're just living their life like everyone else. And then you have the fucking actual transphobic people that want to hurt your feelings. More likely just hurt your feelings. I don't think they want to do the letter Mafia any actual real bodily harm. The majority of them, they just want to piss you off. Don't give them fucking fuel for the fire. Like, this whole thing could have been avoided, and like there could have been no news coverage of it. Like, I guess people have been getting death threats and shit. Like, it's just this is the dumbest thing that's getting any lip service. It's so fucking stupid. And it's just people fucking shouting into the ether.
Yeah, it's one of those things that makes you go, ugh. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and it doesn't have to be. There are times and places where getting all up in arms over things, I think, in my personal opinion, is justified. And I'll be right there. I have been there when people are being absolute, verifiable fucking shitbirds. Like, that shit sucks. It's not right. I'm with you. They need to be taken down. But when it's just some average Joe trying to play a game because wizards go bare, you're on your own, mate. You're on your own.
Yeah, I can't champion you for that. Like, just because they're playing a game because they enjoy it, has no bearing on your sexuality or how you label yourself, and you want to cancel that person, now you're the piece of shit. And you're setting back your community of people by doing such.
Yeah. Well put.
Well, so there you go. But I'm thinking about ending it because it's close to my bedtime and I need nerve pain meds. So thank you for joining me tonight, Pei. Thank you for having a chat with at the top of the show about mental health and how it affects our content at times, whether we do it or don't. Definitely thank you for talking about this whole bullshit controversy. Controversy? I can't talk. Fuck. About
Talking is overrated.
yeah,
We're content creators. We don't have to speak.
Yeah, talking's bullshit. About J.K. Rowling and Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you everyone that came in. I'd give Pei a shout out, but I know pretty much all of you are in her community as well as I am. I'm not gonna rate out. But like I said, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I will put this up on my YouTube channel in a day or two. Do we still have to wait 2 days to put shit up on YouTube, or did they box that?
It's 24 hours.
24 hours? Okay. So if anyone wants to be in the show, if you missed the beginning, it'll be up on my YouTube channel. Links below in my abouts. If you want, follow me on the other shit, TikTok, Twitter, all that fun shit. If you're not, which I highly doubt none of you are not following this lovely redhead here on her shit, go do it. But I have a pretty good feeling that...
Well, actually, if you're not already following me, I have bad news. We're not currently accepting new followers. Thanks anyway. You missed the train. You didn't get on in time. We're closed.
Sucks to suck, nerds. But thank you everyone. Shads, thank you for the raid tonight if you're still there. Thank you for anyone that's still hung out. And especially thank you for people that have been chatting and putting their 2 cents in while we've been talking about these subjects tonight. I would like to say I'm going to do this on more regular, but like I said, top of the show, with my, mental health, it's hard for me to do. But I do more short-term content. But go check this out in a day or two. I'll have it up if you want to rewatch this. So, Pei, thank you everyone. Hope you all have a good night. Remember, fight hate with love, and love will return. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.